All right, let's jump right into a topic that's causing a huge stir in schools everywhere: the smartphone. Seriously, it's this massive debate that puts learning up against distraction, and it's creating a real digital headache for students, teachers, and parents.
And really, it all boils down to this one big question. Is that phone in a student's pocket a gateway to all the world's knowledge, a tool we should be using? Or is it just the ultimate temptation, constantly pulling their attention away from what really matters in the classroom?
And this is not just some casual chat happening in the staff room anymore. Oh no, the stakes are so high that this whole debate has made it all the way to the House of Lords, where people are actually talking about nationwide bans. It's a huge deal. So, to really understand what's going on, we have to look at both sides of the argument. Let's start with the case for phones. Could these little devices actually be a powerhouse for teaching?
Well, the people who are for phones say, look, this is an incredible, ready-to-go resource that's already in every kid's pocket. Think about it. It makes real-time, question-based learning possible. A student gets curious about something, they can look it up in seconds. They can use AI tools for research. It completely changes the game. And maybe the biggest point is that it lets us teach kids how to use these powerful tools the right way, ethically and professionally, in a place where we can guide them.
And then there's a really big one: the equity argument. Sure, we'd all love for every single student to have a school-provided laptop, but let's be real. With school budgets being what they are, that's just a dream for a lot of places. So the bring your own device idea, where students just use their phones, helps close that gap. It makes sure that every student gets access to technology, not just the ones in well-funded schools.
All right, but that's just half the story, right? The argument for banning phones altogether is just as strong, and it's all built around this idea of making school a kind of digital sanctuary.
And the arguments on this side, well, they're pretty heavy. We're seeing more and more research linking smartphones to a rise in anxiety and depression in teenagers. We know kids are losing sleep because they're scrolling all night. And so much of the drama schools have to manage. We're talking cyberbullying, kids being left out. It all starts on these phones. Getting them out of the school day gives kids a much-needed break from all that pressure.
But the distraction issue is actually way deeper than just a buzzing sound. This is fascinating. The research shows that even a phone that's off, just sitting in a pocket, is still taking up valuable brain space.
It all comes down to this thing called cognitive load. Basically, your brain's working memory, its ability to process stuff, is limited. And a phone nearby is like a background app that's always running, draining that mental battery. Part of your brain is just subconsciously tethered to it, waiting for that next notification. It's a constant, silent tax on a student's ability to focus.
So, we've got these two really strong, competing arguments. A total ban seems like we might be throwing out a useful tool, but letting them run wild is a disaster. This brings us to the real challenge: finding some kind of middle ground that actually works day to day.
And here's the daily headache for schools, isn't it? Parents want their kids to have phones for safety, getting to and from school. And that's totally understandable. But the second that kid walks through the school doors, that safety device becomes a major distraction. So what do you do?
Well, schools have been trying all sorts of things. It usually starts with a simple, just keep it in your bag rule, which, let's be honest, is nearly impossible to enforce. So they stepped it up. Many schools brought in phone lockers, where kids have to physically hand over their phones. Then you have the high-tech options, like these special pouches that block the signal, so a student can keep their phone, but it's basically a paperweight until the end of the day.
But some of the cleverest solutions are flipping the script entirely. They're moving beyond just forcing kids to give up their phones and are actually turning the policy into a benefit for the student.
Check this out. It's called the incentivized surrender model. It's so simple. The student hands in their phone, and in return, the school charges it for them all day long. So what's the result? The school gets kids to actually follow the policy, and they get a focused classroom. And the student, they get their phone back at 3 p.m. with a full battery for the trip home. It's a genuine win-win.
So what all of these different solutions are telling us is that maybe a simple blanket yes or no isn't the right answer. It seems like the best way forward is a little more nuanced, something built around school autonomy and, most importantly, context.
It's this idea of contextual autonomy, and it's basically a hybrid approach. For most of the day, in the hallways, at lunch, the rule is super strict. Phones are off and put away. No exceptions. But it gives teachers the flexibility, the autonomy to say, okay, class, for the next 20 minutes, we're going to use our phones for this specific project. It combines clear rules with smart flexibility.
Because at the end of the day, this whole debate isn't just about getting kids to pay attention in algebra.
The much bigger mission here is to prepare students for a world that is and always will be totally online. The real goal has to be teaching them how to manage their digital lives, not just hide from them.
Which leaves us with one last, really big question to chew on. By creating these phone-free zones, are we actually helping students in the long run? Or does a strict ban at school just kick the can down the road, delaying the moment they have to learn self-control, instead of actually teaching them how to solve the problem of digital literacy for themselves?